procurement manager, and I'm the CEO of the fashion brand House of Moda. And today with me is Ibukunoluwa Adeyanju. She would be doing justice to the second episode of the birth control measures. And today we're talking about the accessibility and affordability of birth control measures. And Ibukun, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone. Hi. My name is Ibukunoluwa Adeyanju, and I'm a fertility nurse. I'm a registered nurse and a registered accident and emergency nurse as well. So pleased to be here tonight.
It's nice to have you. It's nice to have you. You know, she's a very humble human being because I had to go through her Instagram page. She has the Instagram handle, the Blessed Mom and the Blessed Nurse. You can go follow to get yourself informed.
Thank you.
It's a really interesting platform. I'd like to just put out there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ibukun. Just before we continue, I'd like to just do a recap of what we shared last week. The discussions we had last week was about the broad control. Is all about the non-hormonal is reversible, which one is permanent, what goes with the female, and what goes with the male. We had a lot of funny moments as well. Anyone would like to know these funny moments could just go on the YouTube page to just have to just refresh your memory or to just be informed about what we discussed. I'd like to go straight into what we want to discuss today because we really need to work with time and we have a lot to discuss. Very interesting topic. So as already said, we'll be talking about the accessibility and affordability of birth control today. And I would just like to ask Ibukun, firstly, do you think that the cost difference in the methods of birth control determines which one a woman or a man would probably go for?
I think, thank you. Yeah. So I think the cost difference can actually make a great impact, in decision making of which, birth control to go for, either a man or a woman, especially with where we are, people would actually want to go for something very cheaper and affordable. Yeah. So I think the cost could make a great impact in deciding which of the birth control one should go for.
One should go for. And do you think that the cost now determines the effectiveness, the effectiveness of it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Probably just work with one person's body.
It's more like what you get, what you have, or you have what you get, something like that. So the there's a limit. Yeah, let me just put it like that. There's a limit to what you can assess with the cost that you have. So you cannot expect to spend so little and then get maximum response from that you have decided to go for.
So like if one person chooses to go for, take it for example, pills, and one person goes for the IUD, it probably means that if I go for the pills, the chances of me getting pregnant is a little bit higher than who goes for the IUD, which is expected to probably be more expensive.
Yes. So,
great.
Yeah. So basically, you can't go for. In fact, you can't compare them. Though we know that they are all doing the same thing. Preventing, getting pregnant, people getting pregnant. But of course, their mode of mechanism actually differs.
Different. I just want to quickly ask a question out of curiosity. In your years of experience, who do you think pushes for birth control more, the woman or the man?
Through all the pregnancy shenanigans and all. So we make the greater decision as to, I want to go for this, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I want to quickly rush to another question, which is about the age factor. Should there be restriction? Do you feel like there should be restriction on who should have access to birth control? Like, should teenagers have access to although we know that coming from maybe some of us religious beliefs, cultural beliefs, and all of these things, no, you're not allowed in these certain areas. Do you think this should actually be a thing to think on? because I feel like it then means that any teenager who is already involved in sexual practices would find it a little bit difficult to approach the right persons to.
Well, I would say that not anymore. I think technology has, let me use the word advanced in a way that people are more open with whatever they want to do. In a way, so I was going to get there, but there's telemedicine now, and then they can do it in confidence, get it online and all that. But the truth is that because of like I rightly said, the religious beliefs, our personal beliefs and all, people decide to shy away from the fact that younger generation should not seek, such services. And trust me, we are not doing them any good, because you just find out that they tend to do things that they're not supposed to do at the end of the day, and then some lose their life in the process, and then you ask yourself, oh, why shouldn't I just allowed this child to seek this? So we know that it's not really, really acceptable in our cultural environment and all, but what do we do? So just to sensitize people around, okay, so if you feel that you need this, then go for it. And I think when I was still in school, my project topic was actually, though it has to do with the health, practitioners, but my project topic was attitude of family planning providers towards the use of contraceptives by adolescents. Okay, so it was when I was writing that project that I got to know so many things, that truly even the family planning providers that we are nurses, doctors, and other professionals can actually have our own biased,
biasedness,
I would say, because of our cultural beliefs, I don't think that this child should come.
What are you doing here?
So, and then when I started visiting those family planning clinics, and then I realized that truly these young ones are actually seeking, these services. So I think that regardless of their age, of course, of course, you still have to tell them that, this is the right thing to do, this is the right thing to do, but they should seek, so that it will help them in making the best decision in the future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I then also want to quickly ask another question about still in the now going back to costs. Do you think that birth control measures should be free to access, as not having to pay, or should it be like maybe under your health insurance coverage, or do you have to like pay out of your pocket? What do you think? What do you think about this?
Well, personally, you know that medications, whatever price it is coming, is not cheap.
Yeah.
Okay? And I know that in Nigeria, to an extent, the government has really helped, to secure some birth controls, medications that they even come for free. Okay, they come for free. But the truth is, they are using money to secure all these things, and some of them are very, very expensive. Yeah, some of them are very expensive. So on that note, I would say that probably some of them should actually, a price should be put on it. The only thing is it should be subsidized, so that even if I don't want to go for pills, I want to go for IUD, or I want to go for Mirena, I want to go for this, I should still be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not getting it for free. I hope you understand. So whatever services that I want to go for or opt for, I should still be able to afford it. Even if I cannot afford it at a go, I can, keep my money, save up, and then pay for it.
Or maybe it could also be financed. You do it and then you pay maybe in 2 years.
So it should be subsidized.
But maybe in like rural areas where maybe we all know the way the economy is generally as well in the whole world right now. Maybe the rural areas, can it then probably be accessed for free? Do you think?
In the rural areas, I think provisions have been made for those, we have NGOs, we have, other body, like USAID and co that actually come together, to provide such facilities for rural areas. So I think truly rural areas should have access to this, because even to eat alone is a challenge. Not to talk of now saying, they are going for family planning services. No. So because they won't even be able to afford it.
Yeah, because I realized that if you go to the rural areas, you find out that they have more children, or more children. There's no better way to say it than when you are in the when you are in the urban area, because a lot of them are educated and so to say they are literate, so they are probably more informed or more aware of these things than the people who are in the rural areas. And I mean, this affects anyone's decisions. So that was why I brought up that question again.
Yeah.
I just also thought about another thing about who we should access. I know we discussed something in this line last week, who we can speak to in order to get access to birth control methods. We talked about maybe going to a doctor or visiting a gynecologist, but we know that a lot of people prefer to just go to the pharmacy. Please, so thing is wrong. I need help. So same thing with maybe like after morning pills and all these other things. A lot of people prefer to go to this to go to the pharmacist. Back home in Nigeria, they would even say they're not even going to the pharmacy. They will go to the chemist.
Yeah, chemist.
Because the pharmacy is assumed to be way more expensive than going.
Yeah.
So people prefer to do the over the counter medications for a whole lot of other things. And I feel like, do you think that this also happens with birth control measures, or it's just with general health and this other medicine?
Well, basically, I think that in seeking, birth control options, I think it's just best to see a skilled, person.
But that would cost a lot.
Well,
yeah, because you know that when you are going to the hospital, you have to pay for card.
If you want the best services, if you want the best, earlier we discussed those that are in the rural area.
Yeah.
So those are in the rural area, truth be told, whatever they see, that's what they are going to use.
Yeah.
If you take pills to them, they will take it because that's what is really accessible to them.
Yeah.
But if you want the best services, then I feel that you should go for the best. So you should see a skilled person that would advise you accordingly. Oh, we feel that this will be best. I mean, this service will be the best one for you to do, and not this other option. There's this thing that goes around when probably somebody has headache in the community, and then the other woman also has headache. Then he now says, come and take this, was what I use and I feel better. So it's still the same thing that happens in this condition too, whereby maybe probably my friend has used pills, or is using IUD, or is using this insertion, and then she advised the friend to say, oh, this is what I'm using. And you now find out that thing that this other friend starts to use reacts. So why not just go to the hospital, get checked, and then know the one that suits you?
Yeah.
So I think it's just best for you to visit a professional.
Yeah. So I cannot go to a pharmacist, because the pharmacist also tell me that I'm qualified. I know everything that's contained in the medication they want to give to you, and I mean it's a long tug of war, so to say, between these medical practitioners. The pharmacist will tell you, I have a doctorate in this, and all of that. And then when you think about it, I feel like it actually makes some sense. And yeah, I was just thinking, so I cannot approach a pharmacist instead of going to the clinic, or I cannot use telehealth, something in that line.
The truth is, we're not here to talk down on anybody, Each profession has their own peculiarity, and trust me, we are all doing the same thing, to achieve optimal health for our patients or our clients. Okay, but the truth is that for me being a nurse, I have my limitations, Even a doctor has his own limitations. There's a gynecologist, there's a pediatrician, there's we all have our limitations. That's the fact that, we all went to school and all that, but we have our own area of concentration.
Yeah.
I hope you understand. So when a pharmacist is saying this, of course, he or she knows what he's saying. But the truth is, I've declined on tests. So because that's what the gynecologist is going to, advise the client on. Do this, and then I think this will suit you better. Yeah. So that's all I can say for that.
Okay, thank you. The question, this next question is mostly directed, basically, I mean, just because of, say, teenagers. Do you think that birth control teachings or seminars, workshops should be set up for teenagers in schools, say secondary school or high school? What do you think about this?
Yes, I strongly think that they should know about this. Trust me, these children are doing things that even you cannot imagine that they are doing. So you'll be shocked when children come, not children now, teenagers, when they bring them to the hospital, you'll be shocked at those exposures, those experiences they have. It will shock you. So why not just start teaching them or letting them know at that age that if you do this should help. This should help. Not that, of course, like we have said earlier on, it's not, it's dicey. That's the truth. But of course, because of exposure to their friends, their peer pressure, peer pressure everywhere and all that. So it's just better to expose them at that age for them to know. So it's not dependent on them if they want to do or not, because they know where they are coming from, they know the family they belong, they know their beliefs. So let's just leave them to their beliefs. But of course, at that age, let us expose them to all this information. So we'll not leave them to make a decision on their own. Yeah.
In terms of exposing the children, or teenagers, I saw a video recently of a girl who had this molded baby that could make sounds and all of that. The mom was maybe letting her understand what having a baby was all about, and this baby keeps crying and wanting this or wanting that. There was a point she slept off, and then the woman came to tap her. The baby has been crying for so long, and she got up and she was like, like, does she continually have to do this? And then the woman was like, okay, she took the baby at the point, I don't know, maybe they were going out or something. And she was like, don't bring a baby home. If you bring a baby home, this is what you're going to go through. And I was like, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense, because it's a way of sensitizing these children. Unlike the way some of us were brought up, like, if a boy touches you, you are pregnant. You are pregnant, which was actually not a nice one. And a lot of us just, grew up with that fear of, if a boy touches you, you would actually get pregnant. And then when maybe your friends get touched by boys in secondary school, for example, now, and they don't get pregnant, you start being so curious, and then you go back home to you manage to probably ask your parent, your mom, about something, and you're like, don't bring up that issue in front of me again. You just be wondering, like, okay, so how did you come into the picture? Like, a lot of parents behave like you would not finally get to understand what this whole thing is all about. Like, you will never ever be exposed in the end. And then later on, they're the ones who are coming to even explain to you that, so you know that when you now meet the boy, and when people now when people get married, you will be pregnant. They will not even explain the whole thing to you.
That one is even too far. They will be the one to start asking you questions. Oh, do you have a boyfriend at a certain age?
When are you bringing him home?
And then you'll be shocked that did I hear you?
From where to where? From where to where? So yeah, we are running out of time. I don't know if I don't know if there's anyone who has questions, but before then, I just want to. This story brought me back to the question about cultural stigma and misinformation. From where most of us come, it's not a thing that you discuss. It's even as there was a day I was talking to someone, I was like, do you know that a lot of married women don't even know anything about birth control? Like, they don't have correct information about birth control. I would not like to disclose totally, but I've been in a gathering where, as singles, they teach you about birth control, but in a very funny way. So they call it dangers of using birth control, something in that line. And I'm thinking that you are preparing single young ladies for marriage, and you are even painting birth control as an evil thing. And I'm wondering, like, so how? Like, you are not, this is actually misinformation, because you grew up with believing that it is wrong. You grew up with believing that it is we are still also going to the part where we'll be discussing the religious aspect of this whole thing, because a lot of people don't even, a lot of Christians or whatever religion may not believe in using birth controls because, for example, the Bible says we should be fruitful and we should multiply. So some people hold on to that, while some other people from the natural state of being say that the women should leave their body, or the men as well should leave their body in the natural state. All these things, I feel like they are cultural influences. And they have somehow been able to creep into our way of life, our thoughts, and also this term of this discussion of birth control. What do you think we can do about this cultural stigma, this misinformation? Well, before you answer, I believe that this platform, what we are doing right now, is also supposed to create better information for people. But yeah, like, just sensitize us on how to go about this.
That was where I was going, that this sensitization such as this would actually help. When I'm sure all this is still going to get posted. So when this kind of video, goes out, we share, we encourage even this younger, ones to be able to, watch and then learn from it. So we would not stop, preaching about it. We will not stop talking about it. So that would actually help. Though I know that we've been doing it for so long, we keep doing it. That's the most important thing. Because even if we do other things, it might not go a long way. But that sensitization is very, very important. And it's important. Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody with questions? contributions also.
Yeah, sorry. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I don't know, I think I missed, I don't know if it was discussed. I'm talking about birth control measures in Germany where we live. Apart from, I don't know if you can enlighten me a little bit more. Um, yeah, something like that. Then I also wanted to contribute when she was talking about um the rural areas. For instance, let me give an example in River States, because my mom is a nurse and she works with an NGO that goes around for this birth control sensitization. Most of in rural areas, they are begging them come now. They don't want to come. They have it, everything is there. They don't want to come. They will go to houses, they will even pay town crier to announce. None of them is coming for it. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but most rural areas, like you said, most NGOs are making efforts, but they don't want to take part in anything. Please enlighten me more about birth control measures in Germany. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. I think let me start with the last question or the contribution when she talked about the rural areas. I think basically it's cultural barriers. Some culture they'll say, "Oh, don't do this. If you do it, something like this will happen." So I think that's basically it's not like some of them too are not really sensitized. They know that we have health centers, we have all these local, even traditional birth attendants. They teach them. That's the truth because even they get trained from the hospitals, by the doctors and nurses. So they know at least to an extent. They might, of course, they don't know everything, but they get trained, they know it to an extent. So they are the ones that will even go out there to, talk to people and all that, including the nurses, the shoes, and the like. So it's not like they don't know. But the fact that still remains that those cultural barriers, those, myths that they've heard, oh, if you do this, if you take this, this will happen. So that is why some of them have not been seeking out these services.
Yeah, it's probably same as vaccinations and all
exactly
of that.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah. So we have myths, we have misconceptions, we have barriers, and all, yeah. So for the I'm not so sure about Germany. So I might not be able to answer that. Because I'm not sure. The only thing is when in my findings, I know that US, Canada, they have a limited free services for all these, and of course their insurance covers it to an extent. But we know that in Nigeria here, we have all these things free because, of course, this USAID, UNF, all these bodies are supporting developing countries. But some other developed countries, they are subsidized. So I really do not know which one is particular in Germany, which one is, So I might not be able to advise accordingly because I don't work in Germany. I hope you understand. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think just to quickly chip in, I think you can approach your gynecologist to get information about what works and what doesn't in Germany. But I feel like it's the general thing, the non-hormonal, the hormonal, the IUDs, the pills and everything, they are pretty much the same. I don't really have information about I didn't have a personal experience with birth control in Nigeria, so I don't want to say it's exactly the same, but it's the general names that we hear back home that we still hear here. And information is always with your gynecologist, so you can always approach them.
I think she wanted to say something.
No. I get. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I think truly the best thing to do is to see your gynecologist so that they will be able to advise you accordingly.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Bayode, your hands up.
Yes. Thank you for this interesting topic. And I think the last time I asked the question, and I will still ask that again from another speaker. Do you think that leaving the birth thing, or I wouldn't want to say birth control, but birth as the topic to natural rhythm makes sense? Because birth control, we have to see it from a broader perspective, because the introduction of this control measure started from the Western societies trying to ensure that the resources covers all the people available. But recently, we've seen that United States, by virtue of, let's say, Elon Musk, preaching or encouraging people to have more kids, and also in China, which was one of the pro communities for birth control, has actually changed the narrative to say, okay, people can have more kids now. do you think at a point in time there might be an eradication or like campaign against birth control at some point? Because,
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, so I think there might be.
sorry, because
Okay.
it's kind of a human-induced discussion, so to say, because the world has been managing kids and births over the years before the advent of sophisticated measures to manage births. So what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think that some set of people would have their own personal opinion as to if birth control should be eradicated or should, continue. I hope you understand. So, but the truth is, we know that we are developing in some countries. Some are already developed. Okay, so and then these services that we are talking about, which is birth control, is something that I don't think can be withdrawn from the health sector. I don't think it can be withdrawn. Hence, the continuous education of this service that we are talking about. So even if people have their own opinion as to, oh, we don't think that this can work, we want to leave our bodies to work naturally and all that, but I don't think it can be withdrawn. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I don't think it can be withdrawn. I think that it has come to stay. So regardless, if people now want the service or not, the people that desire to go for such services would go for it. Others will say, oh, I'm not interested.
And it will be optional.
Should it be conditionalized? Like if a woman is having kind of medical issues relating to birth or having kids or something related to that,
okay,
advice to that, that's a conditional situation rather than a blanket statement. Because
you mean for some countries are saying, oh, if you want to have kids, you should just have one or two.
Yeah, because something like that. But because the question is premised on the fact that this is like women, in my opinion, women trying to take hold of what the number of kids they can have, even if they are fit or even if they have, because from as a biochemist, and well, let me say, I'm not more a biochemist, but with a biochemistry background, I understand that the quality of the lifestyle has something to do with difficulties or number of progenies or kids. So if it's properly managed, and when we look at the other thing, like from what you and the moderators established today, at a point in time in women's life, they might not save, but they don't. The chances of having kids still kind of because the kids are the teenagers uses protections and all of that. So we are looking at a range of, let's say, between 20 something to 40 something. So is there other ways aside using pills or these IUDs that we can effectively manage this using natural stuff?
So if you're talking about natural, then we should be talking about probably withdrawal, which is not 100% reassuring. And then we should be talking about this monthly body check. I forgot
using calendar.
Basal or calendar tracking method. Yes. So I think those are natural ways, but trust me, they are not really 100%, successful. So I wouldn't want to, tilt to that side. Okay. But of course, it's not something that you can push to one side because it actually works for some people. I know of some set of people that uses it and it works for them, especially that calendar method. It works for a lot of people. Okay.
But for people who probably don't have a stable cycle, it may be challenging.
No. You find that even some set of people, when they are menstruating, they are ovulating.
Together.
Yeah.
A woman's body.
It won't work. It won't work.
But for husbands who in a family settings, and that the husband studies or understands the woman, or maybe he follows the cycle, do you think that can be of help as well in terms of managing?
I know of some husbands that are excellent in doing that. I know that they are very excellent in tracking their wife's cycle and all that. If you feel that you can, why not? But the truth is, it's not really. It doesn't
reliable
really all the time. Yeah, not reliable. Thank you.
Thank you. Because at the end of the day, if the man thinks that, I got it last month, I got it 2 months ago. What if something just changes?
Same thing happens to withdrawal method.
Yeah,
it's not reliable. It's not reliable.
Thank you, Tosin. Your hand is up.
Thank you, everyone, for what has been said. But I didn't join the program last week, so I don't know if what I'm about to ask has been talked about already. So I just want to ask about why is it that it's only women that they are campaigning about this birth control of a thing? Is there no other like birth control for men too? Like recently, I'm hearing about vasectomy. They said there's one that they are doing presently that is not permanent, that the man can also do it. Then maybe they have 3 kids, the man can do vasectomy. So it's better for men to do it than for women to be doing it because a lot of things happen to women, hormone changes, and some people even gain more weight. There are some people that I heard about a woman that did this in family planning insert session or something. She wasn't menstruating, but at the end of the day, she got pregnant. Even with that, and when she gave birth, she lost a lot of blood. That she went into coma. She wake up after like 8 months. So if there is something that they can do for men too, that is not only for the women, like the vasectomy or something, I don't know what they call it, that they can do for men too. Men too can also do birth control so that the women can rest. Yeah, I think yes now it's even better that way.
Yeah, very right.
Like when the men do it, the woman can rest, they can enjoy themselves, they can have sex freely, and they won't like get pregnant. So I think there should be more awareness, there should be more campaign for men to also do family planning. So I don't know, as a nurse, you can maybe shed more light on that for us, please.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. I think this was addressed last week anyway, but I'll just talk about it. Okay. Basically, birth control is not only for women. That's the truth. It's for both men and women. So, like you have rightly said, women have a lot of things going on for us. Don't let me say for them because I'm also a woman. So we have a lot of things going on for us that, our husband, if they really, really love us, if they truly, truly love us, and they're not just permit me to say, the African, men, and they don't have that African men mentality, they can actually, also consider these options. And the good thing about vasectomy is that it's reversible. So once they do it, they can also reverse it whenever they're ready to, probably continue having more babies and all that. Because I think I followed the last presentation. I saw the video and you guys had a lengthy discussion as to why men should also consider, birth controls and helping their wives, because the conversation was really interesting. So, like our the person that asked the question, I can't remember your name. Yes, Ma, what did you say? Yes. So as she has rightly said, we need to educate more men. We need to. It's not just about women, truly. But of course, the thing is, it's about the two genders. But there's a way the society has streamlined it to women. It's women that will take injection. It's women that will do this. And some even enforce the woman to use female condom, while the man will say, no, I don't want to use. So and I'm shocked. So we need to, sensitize the general population as to why more, as to why we need to, Sorry, I have a distraction here.
It's okay.
All right. So we need to actually sensitize ourselves as to why men need, further education. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Deckins talk.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I think my question goes like this. Probably to actually pick it up. I think most of the issues with men actually started from, raising them. Because looking at African settings, most parents focus more on the female, child or children, as the case may be. And like someone commented that most of the knowledge men has about women probably is on the streets. Yeah, so maybe that's one of the reasons why we're still having this issue of man pushing his wife to go and face all those things and everything like that. Yeah, but my question is, sometimes it's very surprising when you see kids as early as 5 years of age. Sometimes they can ask you funny questions like, "Mommy, how did you give birth to me?" And my own, when I see, when I, questions like that simply means that, the child did not ask this question 3 years ago, but now which means that, it requires some level of, communication from the parents. Otherwise, like I said, maybe the friend, we have to we have to actually, be the one to teach such, kids. In your experience, at what age do you think parents should engage their children or their child, as the case may be? And should it be more on female or the male child or gender? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's a very interesting question, because this is what we preach to parents day in, day out. You don't have to wait till they're asking you questions. It starts from even once they start, getting to like 4, 3. Once they start speaking, that's the truth. For my boy that started calling mommy a while ago, I started teaching him, oh, this is your private part, and he's just 4 years old. This is don't allow anybody to touch this.
Safe touch.
This is yes. But of course, all these teachings is limited to age. So as they grow, you know that, oh, you are meant to say this. You are meant to say this. And like you have rightfully said, sir, that some children will ask you, mommy, how did you give birth to me? If my son asks me, mommy, my baby brother was inside, how did you come outside? They start getting inquisitive and then wanting to know more as to how these babies come out or how they were manufactured inside our belly. So they are very, very curious. So I think the way we respond to them is based on age. So age appropriate answers is what we give them. So you give them as early as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So once they are getting to 7, 8, they have another orientation to this that we are talking about. Once they are getting to teenagers, when they are entering puberty, you have another set of explanations that you are giving them. You cannot be explaining to a 3-year-old that, oh, if you have sex with some, so because it's not age appropriate. But if you are having a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, I think they are old enough to know, because all this you'll be shocked that even 12, 13-year-old sex. That's the truth. You'll be shocked. So it's not that we want to expose our children to danger, but we need to educate them so that they don't do the do when they're not supposed to do it. So you have age appropriate, responses to these children. So as early as they start speaking, you start teaching them, don't allow anybody to touch this. Don't allow. In fact, the other day, my 4-year-old came back home from school and then told me that my auntie beat me. Of course, we're in Nigeria, so scratch that. I said, oh, why? He said, I pulled on my body. And I said, why did you pull? He said, well, you said I should not allow anybody to touch mine. And, that caught me. I sat him down and then I explained to him, oh, if you need to, your auntie can actually, but of course, if your auntie touches this, he has an idea.
And he's already protected.
He knows. But of course, maybe because I didn't further explain to him that your auntie can actually help you, in the restroom, then. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and then the second part was the gender part. Who should you focus more, the female or the male gender?
Please, together. You don't have to say the female child. Is the female child, or rather, the male child, permit me to say, our male counterpart on this platform, that is the male child that you don't train, that will come and destroy the female child. So why not train them together? Why not explain these things? Of course, what we are going to be explaining to the boy child will be different from what we are going to be explaining to the girl child. But why not teach them? Why not teach them together? Don't separate that, oh, it's only the female that go wayward. No, it's a lie. I know some male child that was abused from childhood. Male children, yes. So teach them. Don't do this. Because if I say don't do this to my child will say why. So you need to give them the why. You need to explain the reason why they shouldn't do this.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing justice to that. Yeah, by the way.
Sorry, this question is short. I will be as brief as possible. Regarding, as you guys went to conscientize the male child, in my opinion, I think it's many of these things has to do with instinctive information. So if we agree that vasectomy is the only possible way for men, and so we can technically say men are safe. So, and usually reasonably safe before they get married. So that's the better way to put it. So of what importance is, and also when they get unwanted pregnancy, is usually most of the time consensual. The sex is usually consensual. Whether it's appropriate or not is another topic. So do you think that is actually necessary to talk to a boy about birth control at, let's say, before he gets to these 20s, to his 20s, for a boy?
Yeah. Permit me to say, even outside the country, we have a younger, guys that started having sex early in their lives. Even in Nigeria, trust me. Even here, they are so exposed to these things. So I think the earlier you start talking to them, of course, you are not going to take them through all this process of, IUD, blah, blah, blah. We have the simpler one. Please use condom if you have to. I hope you understand, sir. Use condom. I think that's the most affordable and easily accessible one. So, but of course, it's not like you're just going to open your mouth and then say this. But there are, the conversation would have ensued from or started from somewhere before you get to that particular, statement.
Okay, maybe just a contribution, or maybe I think it's a thin line. You understand? Like, I remember growing up, they tell you not to have sex, and now telling them to use condom. So it's the religious beliefs and the prevention.
When we started, sorry to cut you. When we started, we've spoken about this. We are talking about realistic things now. We are being realistic. We are facing the reality right now. Okay. When we started, we also talked about the religious beliefs, personal beliefs, and our values. Yeah, we all know the ideal, but are we still doing the ideal thing? That's the question. Are we still doing the ideal thing? Are our kids still doing the ideal thing? Yeah. While growing up, like I've said, I dare not say boy what, but as in how? And then the time came, my mom was asking me, do you have, how will I manufacture the have? Where will I get it? Don't you understand? So the fear that they have instilled in us will not even make us do all these things. But things have changed.
Yeah.
Things have changed. So don't let us not face that reality. Let us face it like this. These are the things that we know that are happening. So let's face it head on. Not that because we want to encourage them to do it, but because these are the things that are happening in our society. So it's not that we are just going to tell them head on, take condom. No, it's not possible. We can't do that. It's not even correct, if I may say that. But of course, don't let us forget the fact that these are the things that are happening. So we are still going to talk about the God factor, in our let's just put that aside for now. But of course, we have that supernatural being, that we can't but acknowledge, and we know that these things are not right.
Yeah.
We know. But of course, let's just, once we instill the fear in our children, let's also instill the fear of God in them. Once we are teaching them, so the fear of God will be the one to teach them that I'm not supposed to do this. I hope you understand. It's the fear of God. It's that thing that keeps ringing in their mind that, I'm still young. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm still this. I'm not supposed to do this. But trust me, when these children goes out, they are opened. They're exposed to a lot of things. Their friends are there. Their frenemies are there. Their enemies are there. Yes.
Yeah.
To expose them to these things that we are shying away from.
Yeah.
So how then can we now, salvage this situation? It's by teaching them. I hope that answers your question, sir.
I believe so too. Thank you so much for doing justice to all the questions. I just want to say, like, on to wrap up the discussion, if we would be, let me use the word sincere with ourselves, I think it's the men that actually need to do birth control. Because now I'm talking from the point of, I'm not even talking from a moderator's point of view now. I'm talking from the point of view of a woman now, because at the end of the day, it's the man who carries the sperm that brings the baby into the picture. We only have the eggs. If the sperm doesn't come into the woman, there's no child. So if we would be even thinking about who is supposed to be controlled in terms of this birth thing and everything, I actually believe that it's the men that should be there. And see them, they're not even on the meeting because they think it's a woman's thing. Well, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you all so much for joining in. We'll be having our next.
We are all ears. We're just we listen. We don't judge.
No, please continue to listen and don't judge. And I hope that you will listen to go to the gynecologist next week, Monday, when they open up.
I already booked an
Actually, I think let me
appointment,
just
truly.
say
Wow,
this,
very
yeah.
good, very loving husband. Nah,
Let me just
your
say
wife
this.
would
I think
appreciate this.
there are some other contraceptives for men that they are not really established now, but I'm sure they are still under research. So maybe in the next few years, couple of years, then we'll be able to say, oh, apart from the vasectomy, that we know that one is, certain and all. And we know that condom is not really, or we hope that we'll have more, men would have more options to, pick from, like the women folk that we have, a lot of options to pick from, so that it will be easy for them. I think it's because they know that it's a minor surgery, a minor procedure that has to be done. So that's why the fear is actually there. So we understand, we feel your pulse, we understand your fear and all. So I hope that in the next few years, we'll have more options for our men to pick from. Thank you.
Yeah, and we hope that they will be really opened to take these options. Thank you so much,
We'll keep them in our prayers.
Yeah. I mean,
You are the one soliciting for me. We are not saying anything, We are just listening.
You say you are listening and you are not judging
at all.
Okay, right as well. Thank you so much, Ibukun. It's been so great. Okay, there's a hand up. We'll have that on and then we wrap up. Lola.
Thank you everyone for the great meeting. It was very, very insightful. Thank you very much, Madam IVK. What I actually don't understand is that we are empowering our men to go for vasectomy, and we are making it also look like they are doing us a favor by going for vasectomy. Why is everybody on this group saying, don't you love your wife to do vasectomy? Did I have to love my husband to carry a child? Like, are we having conversations about, okay, what is the next step to take by not wanting to have a child? If I take this particular, okay, for me, when I took birth control, I was on my period for, there are 30 days in a month. And I'm usually on my period for more than 21 days in a month. These conversations are supposed to be had, and then the couples are supposed to now come to a conclusion that this is the best option and this is the person that's supposed. We should stop making it seem like a man is doing us a favor. Don't you love your wife to? He's not doing you a favor by doing the right thing. You guys are a couple, and if it has come to the point where a man has to go for vasectomy, it's a discussion that should be had that, okay, you go for vasectomy. I'm not ready to do this anymore. Because if he goes for vasectomy, he's even doing himself a favor. You can have sex however you want and nothing will happen. Sorry to the non-Yorubas. Your mind is at rest that, okay, you are shooting and nothing is going to enter. You get, and you love your wife or you don't love your wife. You are supposed to have, these are conversations that should be had with couples, and you don't have to. It shouldn't be something that you love somebody before you do it. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like, absolutely. It shouldn't be a conversation that a man is doing vasectomy because he loves his wife. It's that one that is kind of throwing me off a bit. Like, no.
Thank you. I think we have another hand raised.
No, sorry. I think that was the one that mistakenly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, so for the couple, they need to make a decision as to what's best for them. And the women, we say that we should do what's best for us. Concentrate on me, on yourself first, and then know what's best for you. So in this case too, okay, don't let us forget the fact that we're a single entity, we're a family unit, we're a couple where we have husband and the wife. Okay, so both of them, like I've rightfully said, has to sit down together and make a decision as to what's best for them. Oh, I want to do this. The wife says, oh, let's do this. Or for this reason, I don't want to consider this. Oh, then the husband. See, the truth is, don't let us forget the fact that I think we are mostly, here on this platform now, we are mostly Africans. Okay, so we have some of our men. Don't let me generalize it now. Has that African mentality that, oh, it's my wife that is supposed to do this. It's because we have, we are getting exposed. We know what happens in the outside world. That's why we are now talking in this direction, which is actually the ideal thing. I hope you understand, which is actually the ideal thing as to, both of us can actually seek for these services. Mm-hmm. I hope you understand. So that is why we have to sit together as a husband and a wife as to, who goes for this. But if we look back as to where we are coming from as a Nigerian or an African. Trust me, some men will tell you that you are the one that should go for it, which we know that it is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you are a single entity, you're a family, you understand each other, you love each other, that love has to still be there. Then the husband can say, oh, because I understand what you are going through, where you are, and what you want to, what has been happening in your body, let me do this. Because that man is really, ready to go extra mile for the family and for you. So I think here I'll rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I still believe that it's the women that are giving the men that we are complaining about. We are the one that is giving them the upper hand in this situation of not wanting to go for a vasectomy. That's what I would say. That we are the one as women that are giving them the upper hand still.
Okay.
And they will continue to treat us the way that they are treating us.
Okay, so maybe we should hear from one of them. Let us hear what they have to say for themselves.
They want us to leave it in the natural state.
No, I think you guys have said a lot of good things. You've complimented everything very well, and we really appreciate your efforts, right? Again, if we decide to do it, right, there's this feminine mentality that might crop in at some point, right? So again, the men or the man gender has that vast capacity to do many things, and psychologically, the man is coming up, he's tired, and then the mentality start cropping in negatively on the woman's head, right? Saying, oh, so because you've done this now, you've gone to exhaust yourself outside, oh, you are taking advantage. And so we look at the pros and we look at the negative parts as well. So, it's good that we are talking about real life situations, but also we should look at our mental state. A man and a woman will decide to do something, right? But in the end, the woman will now start thinking of, I would say, one or two negative points. And those things will start eating up the mentality. And then you now start seeing it in reality as if it's happening, right? And then you have that negative judgment. You don't want to talk about it. And all of a sudden, you just bust out and say, oh, I know why. The other time I said you should not do it. You insisted you wanted to help me. So this is your plan. So this is what you're up to and the rest like that. So these negative thoughts, loss of trust and the rest. So it's good that we're sharing these things. It will help us as we're going on this seminar thing. But truly, I will just tell you, I enjoy every bit, every bit. Like I said, we listen, we don't judge.
Thank you
Maybe
so
probably
much.
when we have more options, also like our speaker already said, it won't be an issue for me. Thank
I
you.
hope it will also not cause for extramarital affairs when the men start using birth control measures. Because at least then they are even sure that there's no way the person will get pregnant.
Maybe that will be during the third episode. I think fates and something like that. We can raise that
Mhm.
question up also, right? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you also.
Sorry, excuse me. Because that last line that it will now be like the men will now be like, okay, everywhere. But you see, so but it's now starting to sound like the men cannot drink water and drop cup. Because which one? If we do one thing, you just said now that when we do that now, everything will be happy. But now again, you see, it comes back to what my brother said earlier, that the man comes back from work now, he's tired, just normal tired. And the woman starts thinking, is it that he's tired from work? Or since he knows now that the autobahn is free, he can just be doing anyhow. So please.
They know that that's your way of
understand
life.
us.
Exactly.
We are here to support and we're here to help. And when we do what you need, accept that it is the will of God, everything that happens after.
No problem. We can attach monitor to the whole thing too, so that we'll be sure of your movements.
But the man's nature, you can't cheat, right? Even in the Bible, during Abraham and even Sarah, it went on like that. So it's always that. It's always that.
Don't let us start that out.
Okay. I'm not starting, but I'm just, you see, our moderator brought back that aspect of free will and giving us that advantage to, use that will and the rest. But like I said earlier, I'm enjoying everything. So I'm just here to learn and really to learn, truly.
Thank you so much. It's been really nice having everyone here. We always plan for a 30 minutes meeting, but we always end up shooting out of time. I believe it's because it's a very interesting topic. And I hope that we all have learned one or two things for ourselves and also for every other person around us. This meeting, as we have already mentioned, is recorded and will be on our social media platforms. Anyone would like to share the link or share the conversation with other people can also do that. We'll be glad to have engagements on this post as well. Thank you so much, Ibukun. It's been really nice and educative having you here. We hope to see you again. We'll be having you again next week by the grace of God. And yeah, and next week we'll be talking about the faith and fertility. Yeah, I think that's all, and I would like to wrap up at this point.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. See you all next week. Bye.
Yeah, see you next week. Bye.